So this is Two Skis Walk into a R. I'm Brian.
I'm Ray.
And for this little vignette, we're going to be talking about indexing rows and columns.
Yep, and I've got this example data that we fabricated a while back in a different vignette, and it's just got a small number of columns and 6 rows of made-up data. And there's another vignette on subsetting, which may be more useful depending on your task, but you should also be aware of how you can pick out individual rows and columns. And that's done. So I'm going to type my data frame. Oops. And it's done with this bracket, or I guess that's a brace notation, where you have whatever rows you want to pick out before the comma and whatever columns you want to pick out after the comma. And that's important to remember. It's always row, comma, column.
It's something that my brain always twists around, but Ray has it locked in.
I have it locked in. If you've taken linear algebra, then it's the same thing as that. Row, comma, column. So if I chose, I could type numbers here. There's a million different ways to do this. But if I chose the second row and I leave the column blank, it's going to return that second row, which ought to be this 2H blah, blah, blah. So let's see if that works. Run. There it is.
Magic.
2H, just like that. If I wanted to pick out the value from the second row and the third column, I could type a 3 there and hit run, and then I just get that value right there. So that's cool. I could also, this is sometimes useful, I could type the name of the column that I want here. So maybe I want the biomass G column. So biomass G, hit run, and I return just that value there. I could select rows 2 through 4. That's going to be 2, 3, and 4 of the biomass. Let's see if that works. Oh yeah, look at that.
So you'll see that the colon between those two values will give you the rows that span between 2 and 4.
Right, because that little colon that's what it does. Like 1:10 would give you 1 through 10. So that's useful potentially. If I leave the row blank, it should return the entire column. That's good to know. Yep, it returned that entire column of biomass. What else? You could also do it this way, like I said. And this is the kind of thing that if you need to use this, you just play around with it for a minute till you get what you want. Mm-hmm. You could do the old-fashioned $ biomass. That, of course, would do the exact same thing as what I just did, right? That's cool. But suppose I wanted the second row. Here's another alternative. I could throw a 2 after that. That's going to pick out the second element of that vector. Boom. 1.34.
Useful.
Yeah, potentially. There's just all kinds of ways to look this up. You can search Google for indexing rows and columns in R if you want a complete, probably better organized explanation of that.
And that's a really nice note. There's many places on the internet which are useful for you to be able to figure out your own problem.
Yep. If you can, just Google it. It's
just Google it.
It's 2018, or maybe it's later than that when you're viewing this. Who knows?
Maybe this is going on in infamy.
All right, let's stop there.